Okay. Okay, y'all. So what's going on? It's Lady Tribula Moore here. I am just barely getting everything set up and ready for the day. So if I look a little unput and still in PJs, something like that, I apologize for that. But I was having a very long Mother's Day weekend. So for that, I definitely apologize. So let's get into this right quick. So when it comes to dealing with your family members, how is it that we can have a family and know what to do and still have experiences that are a little less than what we think when it comes to having a family? So that's where we are. And I'll share some reasons why having a family is really not as easy as it appears. And what the reasons are that I found most telling and revealing as to what is some of these problems that take place. It's really about having an attitude of disloyalty. And when we are not really going to bat for one another as we should in those moments, and then we begin to notice what these incidents begin to cultivate. And then I give you an example. There was a moment where some people, strangers, came to our dwellings. And as we are wrapping up our day and going about things as normal and usual, these particular people begin to post threats. And at this particular point in time, the threat was so adamant to the point where we were like, okay, well, something must be done. It was something that needed to have a handled resolution in that particular moment. And so what you'll notice is that everybody's not on board, and family members included. So now you're looking for your backup in your family members, and simply put, they're not around. And that's a problem. That's disloyalty in its purest form. Now, disloyalty is not a bullhorn that you shouting out for everybody to come in here and listen for. It's not really about that. Because sometimes it's really what you do when nobody's watching that really makes you put on to game, necessarily, so to speak, while other people may have a bullhorn doing whatever else. That's not always what is called for. So, and I read in the, I want to say, sociology class for social workers. And they're constantly being told that family requires a sense of loyalty. And it does. And sharing everything. So you can't have selfishness and still want to be able to create. You can't have a selfish spirit and still look for somebody to want to do something for you, because you're too selfish to do something for somebody else or anybody else that's around you. So you're kind of going to defeat yourself in that moment, and then you'll look with some things and start feeling a little silly about the way that you conducted yourself, and it may be too late to go back and redo it. So it is best to avoid it in that sense, so that you cannot feel as though you've done something that was a moment and weakness and something else was a better option. So that's another problem. So, of course, so cousins can be a sore point. And cousins are usually your first and second, third, and fourth. There's certain generations that are preeminent over other ones, but nonetheless, they're all still generations in the works, regardless of whatever else is taking place. And that's just what it is. So let's say, for an example, Joel Osteen is my personal favorite for my own brain and things like that. So if you haven't liked and subscribed, please do. But what is necessarily, so to speak, it's not funny to say, just stop. What is really interesting about Joel Osteen is that he encourages cousins to take one another's dreams, whether it's your first, second, third, fourth, or whatever else, and make sure that you want them to accomplish them instead of thwarting them. And when I say people choose to be a little hesitant to help you, all they want to do is see you fail, your cousins included. That's where you have the points where you kind of sort of like, oh, okay, So now you chose to not listen, and you kick yourself about whatever else it was that you chose to go ahead on and do. Because it wasn't that. So now, this is my favorite quote. People assume that just because, let's say for an example, you become whatever else it was that somebody else had wanted, had done, or whatever. And now you had a moment and something else has begun to get flipped on you. Nobody's going to help you. And did you know why? I'm going to share why, if everybody's curious. It's because you didn't help them. So you can't expect to get and not give. You can't give something that you didn't choose to allow somebody else to experience. That's a weakness. That's a weak mindset. That's a weak person. That's a weak family member. That's a weak cousin. That's a weak employee. That's a weak neighborhood. That's a weak community. That's a weak entity with walls that are beginning to crumble. And we've made it this way. You've gotten so weak that your enemies are people who you have chosen not to help, and you put in the same shoe and position, can notice that it ain't even nothing there no more that's going to make it harder for them to penetrate what it is that you have chosen to just cling to for whatever reason that it may have been. And instead of feeling really grand and great about yourself, you realize, oh, why ain't nobody helping me? Because didn't nobody really choose to go ahead on and express the help that someone else requested of you. So not only do you have those moments where people don't even want to really help, and I mean, and it's easy to go ahead on and rush forward. Because you got it like that. You know, everybody on my dime, what I say go. Oh, everybody always got something else going on. Yeah, including me. The eyes and all this, we just trudging ahead forward. Always in the forefront of what you think is right. Because you know it all. You got all the answers in reserve. You just pulling them out left and right. But again, if you got all the answers that's taking place, then what is the need for you to be in somebody else's shoe to begin with? I'll answer that question for you. You don't have it all together. Because if you did, when you do, you don't have no issue with being there. In the same token, ain't nobody there dealing with what it was that you had going on. And it's really just that simple, and that's just what it is. And there's no need to get upset. Can't nobody feel like they mad or better off than somebody else, because when you have those opportunities to go ahead on and make your presence known by what it was that was going ahead on and taking place, you chose not to do those things. You chose what you did. You chose that, not me, not nobody else and around you in your corner, your vicinity, but who you see in the mirror. That's the only thing that's going to allow you to experience something or not. That's it. Not no YouTube video, not no tutorial for nothing else. All that you can really do from these type of entities that you can call yourself running across is either take note and heed or not. But ultimately, when everything else is said and done, family included, you have to answer for you and yourself, your thoughts, your thinking, your goals, your dreams, what it is that you saw your life like in 10 years. Nobody else is going to do that. Nobody else has the patience to do that for you. And when we allow ourselves to go ahead on and not give something else and find ourselves in that same predicament, and nobody's doing the same thing in return for you because you didn't do it when those people need the same things from you, you can't get mad. And it's really just as simple as that. So that's just what it is. So, so my own family, I started, and that feels heaven sent. And I don't mean sense like everybody just got some money and everybody just want to go ahead and toss coins all the time. That's fine. Everybody can get as many coins as they like. That's fine. You can't take none of it with you when you die, so collect all the coins you want. But at the same token in time, what you did, especially as your family members, that you can take. That you gonna take with you, matter of fact. That you ain't got no choice but to take with you, matter of fact. That much is for certain. 2 is for sure. That you can't create a family with every and anybody. You gonna find yourself in a world of hurt. You're gonna find yourself with such a short stick, you can't reach nothing. And again, who's going to want you to reach something when they had a moment and asked for something else off and you chose not to go ahead and do what you do? So now when you're in the flip mode and someone's asking and you do it the same thing, they're going to treat you the same way. Because you can't fake how you did somebody else and still expect to go ahead on and choose to get ahead in life with what it is that you sowing. No. I don't care what nobody else says. If you are so adamant to have things your way, that's fine. Deal with that. You can go ahead on and dish it out. So you have to learn to sit with that and get comfortable with what it is that you set in. Be comfortable enough to go ahead on and reap what it was that you sown. Be real enough with yourself most of all and nobody else to understand that about you. Because when push comes to shove, if you expecting something from somebody else and you didn't give it, you seeking in vain. And who wants to be around somebody that's only riddled with vanity? I don't. Did somebody else have to explain to you what you needed to do in order for you to get it? Okay, so I don't. So did you go ahead on and still do what it was that you wanted to do anyway? Did they ask you something in the first place and you chose what you did? Okay, no. That's not going to change. And I'm sure that it should, because you said so, because everybody else always got something else to say. Nobody, and what you really need to do is sit down and take several seats and write down as many notes as you can. But of course, most of the time, people gonna complain. What, you got a pen? Oh, I left a pencil. Can I borrow yours? Oh yeah, you know what? Can I pull out my laptop, my cell phone? There's no pen and paper. It's really to the point now where most of us can't even listen, let alone find pens and paper and take proper notes. Pull them out when it comes time to actually take a proficiency test and find them through the tabs in a good highlight. Each section you can turn to based off how the proficiency is lined up according to whoever is in that head. And not even pass your test, at least somewhat. But most of us, what we do, we drop out. We don't go back. We don't talk to nobody. We isolate. Okay, we catch attitudes. We at somebody else's door half the time. We don't want to hear nothing that nobody else got to say. And that's why I say it anyway. And people get attitude. They want to throw whatever, do all this crap and whatever else, and they don't want you to speak about whatever is taking place. So again, why is it that you expect somebody to want to be there and do something for you when you didn't do something that was somebody else's ask? Again, who wants? I don't. And this is what it looks like. That's an example. And I don't have an issue with people making the decisions that they do. That's fine. Family members can do whatever they want to do. Everybody can do whatever it is that they please to do. Yeah. But please understand this. If you don't understand nothing else around you, nobody has to allow you to come in here and start a family. And that's just what it is. You can say whatever else that you want to say. And you can go head on and be quiet and not say nothing else too. And the fact that you want to go ahead on and say something is another issue into an indicator of how it feels when somebody is very weak. And when you really don't want to be bothered with nobody else, because half of the time, trust me, people are going to act like, oh yeah, everybody's so cool. And half of the time in the back of their mind, you already know what they're thinking about because they're not. And that's not where you want to find yourself making families. But again, you have a choice and decision. Your family that you create, which is something else that everybody's going to do. And let other people go ahead on and make the choices of whatever else it is that they dream of or not dream of. It's a personal decision. And again, people can make and say whatever they want to say. And I don't have no problems with none of that at all. But please be mindful, because everybody's not going to be so inclined to hear what it is that you got to say, or who you think you are, or who you think you got somebody else coming on up out of wood. Excuse you? What is it that you're saying? Because again, if memory serves correctly, you're saying and you're not doing anything. And you can't do nothing else besides kind of sort of run off and have those moments there that gets you tripped up. And you can allow yourself to have family with just anybody. That's a decision. That's a personal decision. It ain't got nothing to do with nobody else besides what it is that you're... Nobody else is here. What are you thinking about? That's where your family started. It's not nobody else that's standing 2 feet beside one another, 6 feet at this point in time, because can't nobody act like they got any sense. So now we don't even want to be bothered. And I just said that 10 different times. Who wants to be bothered with a person that cannot help you? And then in the same token in time, when you need something, you expect all the help in the world. No. Who in their right mind expects that as a normalcy besides you? So now you done isolated yourself because you can't pick a family tree appropriately. But you want somebody else, I'm sure, to go ahead on and do it for you. So again, no, I do not. I do not encourage other people to want to be bothered, to want to have that energy there in the midst of where they lay their heads at. Because when you really think about other people, you're going to consider that. You do consider it, good for you. You don't consider it, well, good luck. And last I heard, you can wing it if you like. By all means. Wing it until your face turns blue. Wing it until you ain't got no more wings left. Fly with one wing. Go ahead on and do the winging until you don't have no more winging left within. And when you get to that point, such a level of inwardly thinking that it ain't nothing else left for you to do besides wing something else, you didn't realize who you really are. And can't nobody lay in that but you. Nobody else is. If it was so sad, is the simple fact that we probably all know that. And yet and still, we go out and do the same crap that we do. Day in, like it's nothing. That's sad. That's depressing. But it's a normal thing to the majority of people. It's normal. It's going to stay that way. It's going to be that way until we die. Majority of the people in this entire nation are never going to even understand that, for number one, to create a family that's done with precision is best and not just done at a winged mode. Most people will continuously choose to do just that their entire lifetime. That's something that is put in the works, and that's something that until you figure that out, it's going to continuously be a real live negative manifestation of a family that has caused nothing over and over and over again. That's where we are. As a nation, a country, and just as a generalized idea and thought and thinking pattern. We think it's normal to have 5, 6, 7, 8 different baby fathers. Oh, the more seed that go around, the better. The more family that we got, oh, it's just so huge numbers. Nick Cannon, oh, we got thousands of people going to be in the whole city of just cannons. A brain tumor baby is going to just take over the whole entire city for years and years to come. And everybody that's dealing with Lil Wayne and all of the people who want to be with this one and that one and all, but yeah, you know, we just want to make our, like, what is we doing? But again, majority of the time, that's what we think is normalized. Everybody wants to have a city after them. Okay. Because that's what we believe is normal. And we don't want to check ourselves. We're not going to do that. Because that takes effort. You don't want to have effort in your life. You rather go ahead on and wing it. So do that then. You want to wing it and have thousands of different people up in your life, in and out your coochie or whatever else you want to do, on your penis all day long or whatever. I got the hoes, bro. Then, okay, great. You and your hoes hopefully be able to go ahead on and stick it out through the duration of your lifetime, buddy. If that's what you want to do, when you do that and you have everybody in your corner with your hoes and you got all this crap going on everywhere else that you at and you popping and locking and dropping and you getting it popping down your pole and you just got it going on and you smoking and you got your joints puffing out and you got 3 or 4 baby daddies and you just, hey. Oh, okay. Anything else? Oh, okay. Was that it? Is everybody satisfied now? Was everybody content after they got all the hoes that they needed? Oh, okay. Did you need 10 more? Did you want 15? Is 20 gonna do it? Maybe 25 is best. Okay, you wind up with Easy E dead. Okay, needing millions of doctors who probably is half-assing it. Just to keep you alive so you can keep getting more and more hoes. Good for you. That's somebody I constantly want to be around. You know what? Have at it. You didn't like the video. You know, people in the world, you're not supposed to. If you don't like it, when you really understand, it might take you a year. It might take you 2 years. It might take you 15, 20. Who knows? That's really none of my concern. The point is that it's out. And that's basically really is what counts. Have a good day.